Well, let's stay with crime. A recent viral video has exposed a wave of violent crimes linked to a group of young boys in KwaMashu. But what's often lost in the headlines and the courtroom drama are the untold stories of those left behind. These are the victims and their families. Newzroom Afrika's Nobuhle Modise takes you to Durban North now, the township where fear and resilience coexist in a community struggling to heal from the wave of violence.
KwaMashu, a community that vibrates with life but carries an undercurrent of fear. A group of young boys turned this township into a battleground, leaving 11 people dead, countless others traumatized, and a community grappling with loss. Here in KwaMashu, scars of crime run deep. Despite days of outreach, none of the victims or their families were willing to speak to us on camera. Fear permeates this community, and it's not just a fear of retaliation, but a deeper fear that their voices will never truly matter. Their silence speaks volumes about the trauma left behind, a trauma that extends far beyond any single incident.
There's a hostel here in the township KwaMashu, and these boys were terrorizing mostly in that hostel. And it varies. There's murder cases. Thus far, they've been linked with about 11 of them. But the investigation is still continuing because we believe there will be more cases that can still be placed on the docket against them. And there's attempted murder cases, there's hijacking and so forth. So it's a variety of things. And then, of course, the imposition of illegal firearms is one of the things that they'll be using.
But for many, justice feels far away. The victims of these crimes remain largely silent, paralyzed by fear or simply too broken to speak.
I don't know that it's even unique. If you look at places like in Bali and in Pietermaritzburg, for example, or other parts of Ananda, probably in Mlazi, there's a lot of gangsters there. So it's not unique at all. Any of these big areas, you've got these gangsters operating. And even in rural areas, I come across these cases. So it's not unique at all. We're lucky they've been arrested, quite frankly. And I mean, if I look at Ananda, where people tell me, well, the police are visiting the drug dealer next door, you don't know who you can trust in the police. And this is the battle I have, because the problem is if you get corrupt police, they're risking the lives of the good police. Now, so it's not unique, and we're lucky there've been arrests, but the question is, we've got to find out where those guns came from. And if they are police guns, then wherever they came from, whoever the unit commander, the station commander was, must be held accountable. Because this is what's happening. You know, one of the questions I asked in July 21, I don't know if you know this, but it's almost certain that Begitemba station was looted. Did you know that? No. That's what the locals say. It was closed, actually, for weeks. And the locals say it was looted. And the next month, there was a whole lot of gang massacres in the area. And people said, oh, that's the guns they got from Begitemba. Now, okay, guns, ammunition, even they said bulletproof vests. Now, the station commissioner should have been held responsible. He should have called public order policing, but nobody did that during July. So I write to the provincial commission and I say, is it true? No, that it was looted. What are you doing about it if it was? No answer. I go to Parliament. I say, will you ask the minister if it was looted? No response. So what do you do if no one is held accountable? That's the crux of the problem.
One of the few voices willing to speak is a local trucking company targeted by the young boys.
Well, we got a call from a bystander saying that one of our trucks have been in a robbery or been hijacked. A little later, someone else brought our courier and the assistant back to our depot. And later, when we eventually went out to the scene, we saw some of the freight moved out from the truck. Later on did we look at footage and saw exactly what happened. So the courier and the assistant were very traumatized when they got here, saying that the guys pointed guns at them and shot a couple of bullets and forced them into the back of the truck to open it and basically hand their way with it. I think because of the time of it being broad daylight, there were a lot of vehicles going past, so they didn't take everything.
KwaMashu is a microcosm of what's happening everywhere else in South Africa. The unemployment, the poverty, and the rampant crime that plagues the township are not unique. They mirror challenges faced across the country. Here, the desperation and resilience of ordinary people tell a story that resonates far beyond these streets. Gangsterism in the KwaMashu hostel, where the young boys have resided, has long been a historical issue reflecting deeper systemic and societal challenges.
KwaMashu is huge. And it's historically, you must remember, the other problem KwaMashu has is the hostels. Yeah. It's the same at Modise. Historically, and this is why decent people in Cleveland were getting persecuted, because there were so many criminals for the politicians to use to go for the ordinary decent guys who just wanted a roof over their heads and said we're not getting services. And that's how it all happened in Cleveland, because the police were part of the criminality and they used other criminals that were there. Now historically, especially the big hostels have attracted a lot of criminals. We knew at Cleveland there were hijackers, there were carjackers. The police brought one of the guns in, the R4s that was used. They even fired on the police with an R4 at one stage, these thugs. But historically, KwaMashu has been very violent, the hostels. They were used by warlords as gangsters back in the 80s and 90s for political killings. In fact, I know people who stayed there that just got out because they said the criminals, it's just criminality. They said no. In the xenophobia in 2008, we were getting reports that the hostels were sending out the thugs. So you've got that problem as well. And the hostels, I haven't been there for years, but I'm told there's shacks everywhere. They're very difficult to police, because even the police have to be careful going in there. There have been attacks on police there. No, this is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. We should not have hostels now. There should be proper family accommodation, not shacks. And you don't need RDP houses, you need site and service where you can empower people with jobs. But people are making too much money out of all of this. I can't see a way out of this until we address these social problems.
While KwaMashu struggles with the aftermath of these violent crimes, its people are determined to reclaim their community. The scars run deep, but so does the resolve to heal and move forward. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Nobuhle Modise in KwaMashu.